Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, our viewers. Good evening, learners. Good evening, students. Good evening, good day from wherever you are viewing this program all over the world. Thanks for your support to this channel. We express our gratitude to our numerous anonymous donors. We also thank our patrons on this channel. We thank you for all your generosity and for all you do for this channel. So today we want to look at the derivation of an important formula. A lot of work has been done on this formula, and respect to those who have worked on the formula before now, who have produced various content on the formula. So the aim of this video is not to claim ownership to the formula, and it's not to waste your time, but I just want to discuss the formula in simplistic terms such that novice or those that are scared of maths can look at it comfortably and relate to the workings. So let's start. So we'll be looking at the derivation of the quadratic formula from the general form of quadratic equation. So let's get to it. In step one, we can see the general form of the quadratic equation here, which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And in the second step, we'll see the quadratic formula. So this is the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac everything over 2a. Now, before we move to the next step, I want to remind you that when solving quadratic equation, there are several methods that you can use. You can apply factorization. You can apply the quadratic formula you have here. You can apply completion of squares, and you can use the graphical method. Now, to get from this general form of quadratic equation to the quadratic formula, from here to here, we will have to apply the completion of squares method. And remember, when you are using the completion of squares method, the coefficient of this s squared here must be 1. However, at the moment, the coefficient here is a. The coefficient of s squared is a. So how do we make the coefficient? How do we make the coefficient of s squared 1? That is what we see in step 3. So in step 3, we divide through this equation by a, which is the coefficient of s squared. And by the time you divide each term by a, this a here cancels this a. Then you are left with s squared here, and that takes us to step 4. In step 4, we have s squared. We are left with s squared here, then plus b over ax plus c over a equal to 0. So what we do in the next step is we take this c over a, positive c over a, to the other side. By the time that positive c over a crosses to the other side, it becomes negative c over a. So that is what we have in step 5 here. Then in step 6, we will have to complete the squares. And to complete the squares, all you need to do is to follow the simple steps that will be given in step 6. And this is where most learners get confused. So let's see the steps. So to complete squares, you need to have the coefficient of x. In this case, the coefficient of x is b over a. So if you find half of b over a, that gives you b over 2a. Subsequently, you square b over 2a, and that will be equal to b over 2a all squared. Next, you add, and at the same time, you subtract b over 2a all squared to equation 5. So that brings us to step 7. So look at what happened in step 7. So this step 7 is essentially the same thing as step 5. All we did here was to add and subtract b over 2a all squared, right? So that was what we said here. So this equation that you see in step 7, this equation here is essentially the same as what you have in equation 5. We just rewrote it in a different way by adding and subtracting b over 2a squared at the same time. All right, so in step 8, all we see in step 8 is we want to move this negative b over 2a all squared. We want to move it to this other side. We shift it. So we shift it to this side. And let's see what that gives us. So by the time this negative comes here, it becomes positive. So in the next step is not hard at all. We just want to expand this b over 2a all squared. So b over 2, the contents, the terms on the right-hand side of this equation remain the same. As you can see, now we expanded this b over 2a squared. So b over 2a times b over 2a will give us b squared over 4a squared. Then in this step now, what we did here is we rewrote this expression here. This whole expression can be written as this. So when you complete squares, when you get to this step, all you need to do is open a bracket, pick one of these x's, then pick the content of this bracket, including its sign. Sometimes it's negative. So, but in this case, the content of this bracket is positive. So we just put positive b over 2a, then we close the bracket and square everything. And on the right-hand side here, we found the LCD, the lowest common denominator. The lowest common denominator here is 4a squared. 4a squared divided by 4a squared is 1 times b squared is b squared. 4a squared divided by a is 4a times negative c. That will give us negative 4ac. Then in the next step, what we did here was that we just removed this square and we take it to the other side. By the time this square gets to the other side, it becomes plus or negative the square root of all the content on the right-hand side. So that is what we have here. Then in step 11, what we did was just to simplify the equation we have in step 10. So the content, the terms on the left-hand side remain the same. Now, for the right-hand side, the numerator remains squared, the square root of b squared minus 4ac. Then if we look at the denominator, the square root of 4a squared, the square root of 4a squared is 2a, right? So that is just the difference between steps 10 and 11. Now, next, we take this positive b over 2a to the other side of the equation. So when that gets to the other side of the equation, it becomes negative. So that is what we see here. So here, by the time this comes here, it becomes negative b over 2a, right? Now we can find the LCD. The LCD here, the lowest common denominator, is 2a. 2a divided by 2a is 1, multiplied by negative b. That will be negative b plus or minus 2a divided by 2a is 1, multiplied by the square root of b squared minus 4ac. That means the square root of b squared minus 4ac. And that brings us to the end of the proof of the derivation. And as you can see, the equation you have at the end of step 12 is just the quadratic formula, right? So that is what we aim to do in this recording. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your support, and remember to smash the like button and the subscribe button if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.